If my voice is clear
Yes,
or
sir.
not.
Visible, sir.
So this object-oriented approach, as I told, before going to object-oriented approach, first we'll consider about the procedural-oriented language (POP). It is this one is object-oriented language. This actually initially Java. It is now Oracle company has owned the Java. So now all the Java components goes to the parent company of Oracle. But initially, whenever the Java is developed, it is developed by Sun Microsystem. So initially it was a separate one. Now the company is owned by the Oracle. Now the Oracle is taking care of the all the Java latest versions, swings, struts, like everything will be higher versions of Java will be included by the Oracle version. So before going to your object-oriented approach, so we have to focus on the previous what we have called POP approach means procedural oriented programming. So in this procedural oriented approaching, the languages we have studied is the C, programming C. Why it is known as procedural oriented programming? Here all the programmings you are writing are written into procedure. Procedures is nothing but the methods or the functions. That means if a given problem given to you, you have to make the problem into sub problems. That is, if a main program is given addition of two numbers or subtraction of two numbers, you are creating a method, add method or subtract method like this. You write the method, and whenever you want to access the method, just call this method. So that is known as the modularity concept. So as the name suggests that I told you C and C++. So whatever the components or the concept that you have followed in programming C is covered in C++. In addition to, there is some additional concept included. That's why an increment operator has been placed to C. C++ is nothing but an object-oriented language, whereas C is a procedure-oriented language. So what is the necessity of knowing object-oriented languages? So if you see, in case of procedure-oriented programming, there is a traditional way of writing your programs, but in object-oriented programming, you enhance the skilling of writing the program. It can reduce the lines of code, and some extra features are available in the object-oriented programming. So as this you can see this the topic is object-oriented programming concept we have to cover through using Java. Clear? So before going to the Java, so I'll just go into a brief, little bit brief of C is there, then why C++ we have gone, then after C++ why we will go for Java. Clear? So as I told, procedure-oriented language is C, object-oriented language is C++. Clear. But why the syllabus is designed object-oriented programming using Java? Clear. So at the first point I said POP, procedural-oriented programming. The second point is object-oriented programming. Procedure-oriented means that is a modular program. Clear. Object-oriented is also a modular program, but in addition to, there are some additional components. So what are the additional components? Mainly two things. One is object and class. So as you said, the question, the title is object-oriented programming. So here the main focus is on object. So not only Java, if you go for any Python, also object-oriented language, C++, yeah. So any object-oriented language, the main focus in class and object. So which is not available in the procedural-oriented programming. So here every programming is based on the object. So what is an object? So in a literal manner we can say, so object is a real-time entity which has some meaningful existence. So it is not a book definition. It is just an understanding concept. What is an object? So object is a real-time entity, or you can say, if some book says it is a physical entity which has some meaningful existence. What is that? Suppose just consider the case of a pen. A pen is there. So what is the functionality of the pen? To write something. So if an object is pen, it is has some functionality, then we can say it is an object. Suppose a duster is there. So what is the functionality of the duster? So it will use to erase the blackboard. So it has some function. So it is known as object oriented concept. That means anything which has some meaningful functionality, it will act as an object. So another, I will say, suppose if you are taking anything, chalk piece. So chalk piece is also an object. What is the functionality? It is used to write in the blackboard. So anything will have some physical existence or meaningful existence is known as an object. Next term is used for class. So what is a class? Class is nothing but is a collection of similar type of objects. Clear? Suppose example I would like to give. Suppose I will call fruit. Fruits is a class. Clear? So in the fruit, apple will come, pineapple will come, banana will become. So different types of fruits will come together in the fruit class. So here the main class is a fruit, and you can say apple is an object. You can say pineapple, suppose. And so different types of fruits can be act as an object. So class is the fruit. So another example I'll say, so vegetables. So vegetable is a class. Depending upon the class, there are a lot of different varieties of the vegetables. So that is related to the class. Clear? Similarly, if I'll say electrical section B, so it is a electrical section, 5th semester. So it is a class. Section A and section B are divided into two parts. Then again section A, boys one part, girl one part. Similarly, section B, boys one part, girl. So segregation we are doing. So main thing is class and object concept. So if you see the objective of the main the lesson covers is the difference between the procedural and object oriented programming. The next is we have to understand the concept of class. So what is a class? What is an object? Which I'm just explaining before it. Next, understand the class used create instance of an object. Will go later. Then the properties and the behaviors. So these objectives describes the object-oriented approach. So what is an object-oriented approach? First point, if you want to know object-oriented, you have to see the difference between procedural and object-oriented programming. So this is the first point we have to discuss, procedural and object-oriented programming. So procedural-oriented programming, example of the language is C, or object-oriented C, object-oriented C++, Python, .NET. So different versions are there. Next one is understanding a class and object. So before going to class, I have just explained what is an object. So object says the behavior of the class. We can say object tells about the behavior of the class. Suppose if you take a class of, if I'll write a program, addition of two numbers. Clear? In programming C, what you will do? Suppose question is given, addition of two numbers. Can anyone? Suppose the question says addition of two numbers using programming C. So what you will do? You will write hash include str.h void main int x int y, then printf, enter the two variables scanf %d ampersand a and ampersand b. Then you use a third variable c equals to a plus b, then print the third value. Correct or not? So same program can be done in object oriented. Why it is known as procedure? Because in that hash include str.h you are writing a void main. So every function will contain one main function. Main function is nothing but the procedure. Clear? So when you make run the C file, the main method is going to be executed. That means the main method is going to be called by the compiler. So it will compile the lines and produce the output. So this is known as procedural programming. Same object-oriented programming also contains the same method. In order to that, you have to create class and object. So without the help of class and object, you cannot execute the object-oriented programming. So for the first difference in between procedural and object-oriented is here object class concept is not there, but in object-oriented programming, class and object concepts are there. The first difference point. Next point is the difference between procedural is the here you can have different type of access specifier. What is access specifier? Access specifier means you initially in programming you are defining int x in C, int y, but in object-oriented programming it provides a different approach of declaring the variables, either public mode or private mode or protected mode. Clear? Just like global variables and local variables. If you see for process C, we usually use local variables and global variables. Just the same concept is implemented in object-oriented, but the terminology changes. That is public, private, and protected. So access specifier concept of the variables comes. So that is a second difference point. Clear? The next point is the feature. In addition to the procedure, there are three basic advanced features incorporated in object-oriented programming. That is, first one is your polymorphism. Second one is your first one is your polymorphism. Second one is your inheritance, and another two properties are also there: data abstraction, data encapsulation also there. So only two properties has basic more advantage over procedure. That is the just a second. So we are basically focusing on these properties and the behaviors of this. So if you see, so this is some difference. Is audible? Hello. Hello.
Method. So this is known as function. I will show you whenever I execute one small program. So why it is known as waterfall approach, I will just explain. Okay. So the next point is here the large problem is divided into small units known as function or methods. Here in object oriented, here each program is divided into objects. Okay, so this is the one difference point. So another is the accessing mode. I already told you no access specifier is observed, but in object oriented programming there is some access specifier concept like public, private, and protected concept. Next one is as I told, these two properties are very important. That is polymorphism and inheritance. So these are the two additional concepts which is used in the object approach, which is not in the procedural oriented approach. What is that polymorphism? What is a polymorphism? Tells out that one can same method, you can say one can act in many ways. Polymorphism says that if you are creating a method, it can be overloaded. You know about method overloading in C or not? Yes or no? Programming C method overloading means the function name will be same. The differ in terms of type of argument and certain type of method. So that is known as overloading of methods. Similarly, here you can also overload the method, but operating is possible. If you see here, two additional concept used. One is operators and constructor concepts. Okay. So these two concepts is not present in your program. Here we can overload the function. Here also we can overload the function, but as well as we can overload the constructor as well as the operator also. There is no concept of inheritance in the procedure-oriented programming. But in object-oriented programming, inheritance can be achieved. So we cannot see this screen. You want to go to the screen? No.
Yes, sir.
This point here, accessing specifier is not observed in object-oriented programming, but here access specifier observed, that is public mode, private mode, and protected mode. In later on stage, we will see if you make a variable public, what will happen. If you make a variable as private, what will happen. If you make it protected, what will happen. So depending upon that, also the public mode, private mode, protected mode, you can make also public, you can make the private function, you can make the private protected method. Similarly, you can make a class public, you can make a class private, you can make a class protected. So depending upon the access specifier, three types of access specifier is introduced. This is not present in your earlier procedure-oriented programming. Next one is your polymorphism. As I told, polymorphism means one form can act two ways. That means same method you are used for addition of two numbers, same method you are using addition of one integer with the float, same number you are using addition of two float numbers. The structure is same. That means if a method having same name but differ in terms of type of arguments and the return type of the method, it is known as method overloading. Clear? So method overloading concept is also in object-oriented programming. In addition to that, there are two concepts: the constructor and operators. Operator overloading and constructor overloading, which is not present in your programming, your procedure-oriented programming. The next very important is the inheritance feature. So inheritance, there is no concept of inheritance or no provision of inheritance. That means inheritance means, as the term says, that it will inherited from one to another. Okay. So here this inheritance concept achieved in the three mode, either public mode or private or protected mode. So inheritance is that, as I told you, object-oriented programming, everything you have to do in class and object. So if you make a class, the properties of class A will be inherited to class B and class B to C. So simultaneously inheritance of the property is possible. So next point is there is no proper way of hiding the data. So data is insecure. But in case of object-oriented programming, data is more secure because we are providing the access specifier. That is public, private, and protected. If you make a data public, that means it is going to accessible throughout the program. Clear? If you make private, limited access. If you make private, so only limited access will be given. Protected means similar to the limited access, just like your username and password in email. Clear? Suppose one person is having a username and password, you will give the username and password whom you trust. That means you can give the username and password to your friend or your brother and sister so that they can log in. So in that case, that is known as protected. Suppose your user ID and another password, user ID and password, some different person whom you doesn't know, so you can't share. So that is the concept of private. So private property will not be inherited or it cannot be accessed. But in case of public, anybody can access. Just like example of your Wi-Fi, if you go railway station, Wi-Fi is there or not? If you want to use that Wi-Fi, turn your Wi-Fi terminal, then enter your registered phone number, and it will give the uh, code, and you just log in and you can access. That is public mode. Here, protected means just like if you will go to GMRIT, if you go, there is a GMRIT Wi-Fi. If you know the password, then only you can use it. That is known as protected. If anybody come to access the GMRIT Wi-Fi, it doesn't know the key or something, then it goes to private mode. Okay, so these are the example. The next point is the data sharing concept. So global data is shared among the function in the program. The next in case of object oriented programming, data is shared among the objects through the member function. Here the member function is nothing but the function used in the class. Clear? So what is the function used in the procedure oriented programming is named as member function in the object oriented programming. Both function is same. Clear? Next concept is there is no concept of friend function. Just remove for the timing. Don't go to this concept of friend function. Later on you go. So next one is there is no concept of virtual classes. Here the concept of virtual classes appearing there. Example of the POP oriented languages is C, VB.NET, Fortran, Pascal. This is known as the procedure oriented language. And for object oriented language, it is C++, Java, VB.NET, C#.NET. So there are different versions of the object oriented programming. So while going through the differentiation of object oriented and procedure oriented programming and object oriented programming, we can say that we can conclude that object oriented programming is better than the procedure oriented because it has some additional features. What are the additional features? Inheritance will be there, polymorphism will be there. Next one is your access specifier for the data types, that is public, private mode, public, private and protected mode. Next one is you are having operator overloading constructor concept is there. Okay, so these are the basic advanced concept used in the object oriented programming. Just a second. So if you see, so object-oriented programming is the term is used to describing a programming approach based on the object and the classes. Okay. As I told, object-oriented programming based mainly focus on the approach of object and classes. Okay. So this object-oriented approach is used to connect the data and the behavior of the classes. So this is widely used for object and classes, which is used to connect the objects that consist of the both data and the behavior. So we can say object-oriented approach is a term that is used to describing programming approach based on the object and the classes. The object-oriented paradigm allows us to organize a software collect of object that consists of both data and behavior. Okay. So this is a small definition of object-oriented programming where it depends upon the class and the object. It shows the behavior of the data and its behavior. So if you go to the Java initially overview, it is just initially the Java is developed by the Sun Microsystem. I already told you. Initially, the Sun Microsystem has developed a Java software by James Gosling and released in 1995. Clear. At that time, so Java 1.0 is the version number. Clear. Now now Java 12.13 is coming JDK. So different versions are initially Java 1.0 is released. Later on, it is released to J2EE. That is the intermediary version. So then mobile version is used. Now in our mobile you are using Android or not? Yes or no? Have you heard about Android Studio? Have you heard about the term Android Studio?
Yes, sir.
So this is another advanced concept of your J2E application. So depending upon this mobile application, different OS also can be run designed depending upon this Android Studio, which are executed now in your latest smartphones. What is the latest version of Android? In a smartphone, what is
Upcoming 11, sir. Upcoming 11, sir.
okay? Very important is the platform independent. So there are certain features you can say of the programming language why it is more efficient than other programming language. Okay. So first point is platform independent. So everyone says platform independent. That means execution of certain programming language, you need a platform. That means suppose if you are using programming C, you are using Windows system. Clear. So when you want to execute the programming C file in Windows, you are using Turbo C. Clear. Similarly, if you want to execute the programming C file in a Linux or Unix system, you need different software, just like PuTTY software. You know, heard about PuTTY software? PUTTY. So there are different versions of software to use the programming C. But in case of Java, it doesn't require any platform. It runs in every OS. Clear. It can run in Windows, it can run in Unix, Linux, Ubuntu. So it doesn't depend upon the platform to be execute the programming file. But whereas in case of your C, it depends upon different versions, just like Turbo C, C++, Borland C++, PuTTY, and there are different versions to different versions of platforms are used to execute the programming C file. Clear. So what is platform independent? You can say, unlike many other programming, just like including C and C++, Java is not compiled into platform specific. That means it doesn't depend upon type of the OS. Well, it may be Android, it may be iOS, anywhere it can run. It doesn't require any platform for the execution. So that's why it is known as platform independent. So what is that? It is not compiled into platform specific machine, rather into platform independent bytecode. So this bytecode is distributed over the web or interpreted by the Java JVM on whichever platform is being run. Only knows about the binary code. It doesn't know that it is English or what you are written. So depending upon this, so when you write a code, when it is compiled, clear, then that respective code is known as the bytecode. Whenever you write a Java program, whenever it is compiled, it will convert to the machine understanding code language that is known as the bytecode. Clear. So what is a JVM? JVM is the Java virtual machine on which this bytecode is going to be executed. It is the machine on which the bytecode is going to run and provide the output is known as a Java virtual machine. Clear? And altogether with the bytecode and the JVM is known as Java environment. Clear? Every Java file needs environment is nothing but there will be a JVM will be there, the bytecode will be there. Whenever all together it will be run and produce the output. So it is known as a Java environment. Otherwise you can say Java JDK toolkit you are using, Java development toolkit for executing any Java program. So the first characteristics or first feature it is known as platform independent. So Java's the question will become what are the features of the Java? First point is the Java is a platform independent. Why it is platform independent? It can run in any OS. It doesn't depend upon the type of the OS on which the program files has to be run. Clear. Next point is the Java point is secure. Clear. The next feature is Java is secure. How it is secure? Clear. Because we are using access specifier concept is there. Apart from the access specifier, we are using any key encryption algorithms are there. So encryption we can do, that is public key encryption, private or like this. We can use it. What is that? So this is the, if you are using access specifier concept with the Java, so we can say it is more secure. Clear. Next point is it is more portable. So portable in terms of portable in actually what do you mean by portable? Portable is nothing but it says about it architectural neutral. That means if you consider this term architectural neutral, having no implementation dependent aspect of the specification makes Java portable. Compiler in Java is written in ANSI with a clean portable boundary, which is a POSIX offset. That means architectural neutral means whatever the concept we have covered in C and C++ is also available, and the Java compiler is also written with ANSI format. So that's why it is portable over there. Clear. The next point is Java is robust in nature. So it is another point. Java is robust in nature. What is a robust? Java makes an effort to eliminate the error situation by emphasizing mainly on the compile time, error checking and the runtime. So this is very, very important. Sorry, this one is another 10 multiple. So Java finds the if you find robust in nature means here error handling concept comes. If you heard about the term of exception handling, clear. Robust in nature means Java provides a technique to handle the errors that is known as exception handling, whether the error generated in the runtime or the compile time. So what is exception? In this case, I am giving just little bit hint. Later on, we will extend what is exception handling and all. So exception is nothing but there are two terms usually used in the program. One is error, another one is your exception. My screen is visible? Hello?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir. Okay. Robust means there will be two terms. One is error, another one is your exception. So what is the error? It is the bug while running the program which cannot be handled. Just mark my words. What is an error? It is the bug generated while running a program or compiling a program that cannot be handled. Clear? That is known as error. But exception is similar to error which can be handled while compiling time and run time. What is that exception? Suppose if I'll give 1 by 0. What is the 1 by 0 by? Suppose I will make a mathematical calculation. In some case, I will got 1 by 0. What is 1 by 0 value? Infinity or not? But in case of compiler, there is no concept. It doesn't know what is the infinity value. Clear? 1 by 0 we know according to the mathematical formula, if you got 1 by 0 it leads to infinity, but in calculator 1 by 0 doesn't give the values at infinity. So this is the exception. We know it is an error, but the value is the exception you are getting, that is infinity. Clear? Something 0 by something. Clear? 0 by something, the value is 0 according to the mathematical formula, but in calculator we do not find such operations. So this is known as the exception. Clear? So this is known as the exception, which is handled in the Java more precisely. So that is known as robust in nature. Not only this exception are of different types. User defined and predefined are there. Suppose another example I will give. If you are inputting an array of size 10, clear, then you want to use 11th position of the array. Is it possible? No, because array position starts from 0 to 9. If a of 10 you take size, it starts from 0 to 9. If I want to use a of 10, is it possible? No. So this is known as the exception condition. This case is known as robust in nature. The next point is very, very important. This is multi-threaded. So Java provides a threading concept, that is multitasking. Clear? Example of you, suppose just think about your browser. If you take a browser, one tab you are using Facebook, another tab you are using listening music at the same time, another tab you are just playing some game. In a single browser window, you are performing multitask. So this is the example of a multi-threading. So this Java provides this multi-threaded feature by which it is possible to write programs that can do many tasks simultaneously. So this is the very, very another important feature of Java. It is multi-threaded. So there is another difference you can say. Threading concept is not in procedure-oriented programming, but threading concept has included in object-oriented Java programming. Clear? So this is another point. You say this is next one is interrupted. So interrupted is just like a feature where bytecode is translated to the native machine instruction and it is not stored anywhere. Clear? The development process is more rapid and analytical since the linking is an incremental lightweight process. So this interrupted is linked with the multi-threaded. So what is a thread? Thread is nothing but a lightweight process which is used to execute the task. For the timing, you just know the terminology. All this will be encrypted one by one in your chapter. Threading is one of the chapter is there for you. Inheritance also one of the chapter is there. Polymorphism also another chapter is there. So what we discuss are everything present in a chapterized model. Okay. So next point is, as you say, it is high performance. You already know because Java handles different types of packages are there. You know, in C you have to write hash include std standard input output header files. Similarly, when you go C++, iostream.h. Clear? So whatever you want to access, you have to first initialize the header files. But similarly here, in case of header file, there are some predefined packages. If you want to access some packages, you have to import. You have to write import java.util.star. So everything comes in a package format. So that's why it is high performance. Clear? Next one, distributed. So Java is designed for the distributed environment for the internet. Next point is very, very important. This is dynamic. What is dynamic? Dynamic is nothing but in terms of your memory allocation. So in programming C, you are using memory allocation, dynamic memory allocation. What are the operators you are using in programming C? Can anyone tell what are the syntax you are using for dynamic memory allocation? In programming C. Calloc and malloc. Yes or no? What? In programming C, you are using calloc-malloc, memory allocation. That means dynamic memory means whenever you want to create a memory, just use calloc or malloc, size of that operator, it will create the memory at the instance. When you execute the program, the memory will be deleted. Similarly, this dynamic memory allocation is more than C and C++ because it use different types of packages and sub packages for which carry extensive amount of runtime information that can use to verify and resolve access to the object on runtime. So if you see, these are the features of the Java. First point, what is the Java? First point, Java is platform independent. Next point, Java is secure. Next point, Java is portable. Next one, Java is robust. Next, Java is multi-threaded. Java is interrupted. Java is high performance, distributed and dynamic. So these are the, you can say, feature of a Java. Object-oriented programming having this are the feature by which it is different from the procedural oriented programming. So this is only introduction. So what we have discussed, I will explain in a small program how it is known as portable and everything will be noticed over there. All of you got it? Or any doubt till now? So everything I will show the explanation how it is top-down approach, how it is bottom-up approach. In the upcoming classes, we'll see how it is everything what we had said here, how it is happening. I will check. I will hit and trial and show you with outputs.